my Chargers hosting the Browns. And yeah, Jamie, I think this one, unfortunately for you, is going to be quite a long review because of what happened. But if it is short, I will fill in.
Yeah, what I didn't want from being ill is to have to talk about a game that's going to go on for ages and ages, end to end, and touchdowns galore. And this one finished a very quiet 42-47. I mean, together they scored over 1,000 yards, which is, I think it's like the fifth time or something in history. Baker Mayfield, he's now lost 3 games where he scored 42 plus points for the Browns, which is ridiculous. No other quarterback has ever lost a game when scoring more than 40 points. So Baker Mayfield's done everything he possibly could. The Chargers, I thought, did everything they possibly could to try and lose the game in the first half. I think they were sloppy. They didn't really do much. There was too many punts, the fumble as well, which sort of just wasn't great. It was all just thinking, like, oh, this is Brown, so you're just going to grind the result out in the second half. But no, the last quarter, the Chargers actually turned up. They helped my fantasy massively. Big credit to Austin Eckler. Eckler's helped me out there to beat this. It's always nice. But the Browns, they did their best. But Justin Herbert again showed what a good quarterback he is. 398 yards, 5 passing touchdowns, no interceptions. He got over 42 points on fantasy as well, just by himself. 122 passer rating. It literally could not have gone any better. The ending was the best bit for me. The touchdown that Eckler scored, they were trying to waste the time, waste the clock. It was like a boxing match back and forth in that fourth quarter. It's like, we'll score, you score. The defenses just didn't turn up. Chargers D-line, whenever someone's moving in the pocket, like if it's a Nick Chubb, they try and move that offensive line. It was so easy for the Browns. And then the Chargers just hit straight back on the Browns. And Myles Garrett then went on the floor, and then another cornerback for the Browns was injured, went on the floor. So I was thinking, this is all going Chargers' way. And then they get a touchdown, like 35-35. And then Browns just hit straight back. Kareem Hunt, 2 minutes 39 to march down the field, 42-35. And then you think, they're surely they can't do it. Minute 30 later, 42-41. All they need to do is hit a PAT to equalise. And obviously he misses. Actually, so good this season, your kicker.
He is useless.
And then you think, well, all the Browns got to do is a couple of first downs and they win the game. Just march it down the field. 3 plays later, they went 4 yards and they had to punt the ball away after a minute 13. Then Chargers get the ball back. All again you have to do is just waste time, go on the floor, and then kick the field goal. You win the game. But no, Eckler decided to stay on his feet, and then he was picked up by about 8 Browns players and shoved across the line, which again helped massively on my fantasy. That really did that. That pretty much put the finishing touch on my win to make it 47-42. And you're thinking the Browns believe in themselves so much that they're just gonna they can pick him up, put him in the end zone. We're gonna go score again. Didn't happen like that, and it was pretty much minute 20 odd later, turnover on downs. They had a couple of shots to the end zone, which wasn't really to the end zone. Baker Mayfield just doesn't have that power that Herbert does or Mahomes does. And the Chargers win 47-42. Josh Allen, Herbert, or Lamar Jackson for MVP this season.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, I mean, what a crazy topsy-turvy game it was. I thought it was personally done at halftime. I think I said, good night, boys. Number 1 AFC seed was somewhat lasted. But wow, that fourth quarter. I have slated the Chargers this season for some second half performances, but that fourth quarter was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my time watching the NFL. It was just so back and forth. And yeah, I mean, Justin Herbert for a second-year quarterback, he is just phenomenal. Only one player in NFL history has more than 10 games with 300-plus passing yards over the first 2 seasons of his career, which is Justin Herbert. The man just picks up passes, and he's so accurate. It's a joke. And then another stat. So Justin Herbert has also joined elite company. Well, I say elite. The only quarterbacks in the Super Bowl era with 6 games of at least 3+ touchdowns and 0 interceptions in their first 2 seasons. Justin Herbert is one of them, Dan Marino and Lamar Jackson as well. and yeah, I mean, the Chargers, they've impressed me so much this season, especially, I mean, with Brandon Staley in charge as well. Again, fourth down conversions, excellent from us. I mean, Eckler, his running game. I only found out this last week that he was actually undrafted. He's very underappreciated, I think. What another magnificent performance from him in the running game. Mike Williams again, just exposing Cleveland secondary, got 2 touchdowns, and yeah, I'll keep saying it, gents. It's a real statement of intent that we are sort of turning over these AFC teams that have been proven in the playoffs the last couple of years, and yeah, another tough game in terms of the AFC again this week in against the Ravens away, and obviously which we will preview. But yeah, another massive win, and yeah, we go again.
Yeah, just quickly to add, I think you've covered the Chargers point of view spot on. Just from a Browns point of view, so it doesn't seem like we're too one-sided. The Brown running game, I think, shows you that running back duo of Kareem Hunt.
We couldn't stop it. Like that's the one negative of it. Like the Browns defense, the Browns running game, is just ridiculously good, and again, that's why I've got my fears about Baltimore as well, because they are a running team. But yeah, yeah. I mean, the game was just ridiculous on both sides, and yeah. And I think another stat was Cleveland Browns there's only ever been 42, 47, 42 games, and the Browns have lost both of them.
Which I think sums up the Browns, that even at this stage, where they're miles better than when me and Jamie first did the podcast back in 2016, when they literally were the laughing stock of the NFL. They're now, as I say, competing every single week, but there's still the inconsistency, because yes, the running game is magnificent, best running back duo in the NFL. Chargers couldn't handle them, but the passing game still hit and miss. I don't trust Baker Mayfield. I personally think they need a better quarterback to lead them to anywhere close to the AFC Championship. I think if they had a Herbert or Josh Allen, I think that they would be a Super Bowl contender. I think that he's a real difference. And defensively, if your O-line can hold off Myles Garrett, which is difficult, but if you give a decent quarterback time in the pocket to find receivers like your Williams and Keenan Allen, then you really expose the weaknesses of Cleveland, and that secondary was useless. It felt like that they were back in Ohio, where I'd say the amount of room that they gave Williams. But they're still positive for Browns, the fact that they can score a lot of points on a given day. But I thought Chargers deserved the win in the end. So I expect both teams to be in the playoffs, definitely, going forward.